Greetings! Welcome back to Switch to Linux. And man, it's been a crazy couple days here. We got stuck yesterday. I was going to come on out to this place. I was kind of unsure if we could do the streaming show and stuff from out here. And then I'm like, well, I'll come out here, and there's plenty of time. And if internet's not good, I'll just go on to another spot. And then I got stuck in some mud, really bad. And so I kind of, we were doing the show out here from one thing or another. I just got out about 2 hours ago, which is good because, I was at this angle, for about 24 hours. Kind of like, messes with your balance a little bit. But we're back. Let me go ahead and unmute everybody. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, we're doing good today.
All right. Nice. Better than I'm doing with the getting stuck. I'm free though. So.
Yeah, that's
now I have those
really bad.
Yeah, now I have those fun questions. It's like, okay, will I have any like transmission damage or wheel damage or anything like that? I don't think so, but we'll see. I did finally get over to.
It might shake when you drive it down a paved road because of mud getting stuck in the rims.
Yeah, I sprayed a lot of the mud out, but probably not all of it. So. That's that. But anyway, I figured before we get into much else, let's go ahead and show you guys the carnage because why not? So here you go. Here is the van stuck. So I get down this road and I go only about 30 yards down, not very far, and my traction control starts going off. I'm like, oh boy, this is problematic. So I stop. I'm like, I look in the mirror and I see I'm leaving tracks. I'm like, well, let's get out of here. So I put the van in reverse. I go back over halfway there. I'm only like 3 car lengths from the pavement here. And then the way the angle is sitting, the road of the angle is sitting, and with how the slant of the road is, I start sliding, and I slide 5 feet into this little de facto creek in the side of this road. So it was kind of exciting. Here's the cat going, what the hell did you do? So it's just like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So here's some pictures from today before we escaped. You can see how deep we are. Literally, I step out of that thing right onto the dirt, and it was like, if you know how high the van is, that's crazy high. Here's a little bit more. Kind of see there. Surprisingly, I'm actually not scraping the bottom of the axles or anything at this point in time yet, which is really good. So I'm like, yeah, there's still hope.
You should use that picture. You should use that cat picture for 1 or 2 of your intros.
We should. We should. I'll probably do that. So here's a close up.
That's just too cute.
Yeah, you can see the how deep into the mud we are. It was kind of exciting, and then of course here is the front. So I think that's my last. Oh, here's the carnage after the fact. So. Very fun, very exciting. And the most hilarious thing about all of this, right, is every night, of course, I'll go out and here's more carnage, so kind of we're back to that. So,
yes, I was joking on the Matrix chat earlier today that in 10 years we would have a new episode in the 10-year podcast of the stationary mobile home.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that still happened. That does happen in some places. There were actually some places where Airbnb were actually renting out campers. But God has a sense of humor because last night I'm like, okay, well, I'm at this fun angle, but we're going to chill out anyway. And we're going to chill out in the bed. We're going to read my Bible a little bit. And what was the exact verse I was on? Like I read through systematically and I just put the bookmarker in and then I pick up the Bible. Last night, first verse I read, "Save me, O God, for the waters have threatened my life. I have sunk in deep mire and there is no foothold. I have come into deep waters and the flood overflows me." Psalm 69, 1 and 2. So God has a sense of humor. He's just like, yep. Guess what, man? Guess what? You're stuck, and I know all about it. So that was fun. Yeah. We got 10 currently on YouTube. Let me pop out my comments. I didn't pop out my comments yet, like I like to do. And Ashton's on. Greetings. Hello, Dakota Rustler. Hello to everyone in the American frontier. Big cities, too, I suppose. Moonbase Self-Graze. No, the mothership came to get me out in Moonbase. The mothership helped me out, so I am free. I drove down
threw
and
him a winch.
So I was talking to one of my friends. I have a group of people I always let know, kind of where I'm at and, when I'm stuck, I'm dying or something. And he said he's looking up the campgrounds where I am. He says, oh, I found this one great piece of information on the campground. He reads it. He says, if you go down here, you need to stay straight on the pavement until the pavement ends before you, and that's where the campsites are. You see any other dirt roads, don't go down them. Well, thank you. I didn't have that intel prior to me coming along. So that's great to know that such information does exist. Had I dug a little bit deeper and found information. So I did find my way out to the campground, and right behind me is a wonderful lake. So now I'm hanging out on a lake, and it does look like I'll be able to drive out of here. So that's good. Yeah, the cat's like, what the hell? Record highs in Columbus, 72 degrees. Wow, that is pretty high. The van is not 4x4. You can get a ProMaster in 4x4, but you have to custom build them. They are rarities, so you can get them, but not often. I will mention I am not going to be monitoring comments tonight on Twitch or DLive, simply because A, there's not a lot of people that comment over there a lot, but B, our bandwidth is a little lower than I would like it to be, so I'm actually surprised that we have not had any buffering yet, but that is the case. But we are going to monitor the comments on Rumble, Odyssey, and YouTube. So on Rumble, greetings, Rumble dwellers, and hello all from A4. And over here on Odyssey, that scared me. Let's see. Greetings, Moonbase over there as well. Kitty, yep. Greetings, everyone. Knee deep in the mud. Oh yeah. Surprised you didn't get caught in that storm last night. Which storm? There was no storm here last night. But we'll see. Anyway, anything else before we get into our topic?
Maybe you got some wind to dry out the mud.
I think by Saturday we're gonna have like 35-mile-an-hour gusts here. So,
wow.
I did not check the weather myself, but that is
yesterday was really beautiful here. I mean, it went up to like 58 almost, and I mean, you could go outside in a hoodie and a t-shirt.
Yeah. It's we survived the really, really cold, frozen Texas ice storm. That's where we were last week. We survived that, and then of course we landed in the spot last Friday where we could not do the weekly news roundup. But I have decent internet right here, and I'm just not going to go anywhere for a couple days. So, that's kind of where we're at now.
One of the comments on YouTube is that maybe you need an unused driver's license.
I might need an unused driver's license. Yes. Although, I mean, if I drove into the side of the road, I mean, that's stupid me. But, I mean, I literally slid 5 feet down the road into that thing. That ditch was like your mine. You out-of-town moron driving down a dirt road a day after a rainstorm. And I did encounter... clay. Yeah, I did encounter... That's about what it was. I did encounter a lot of... a couple of locals came by and like, yeah, you're right there. I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, just so you know, don't drive down these roads after it rains. Like, thank you. Appreciate that. I kind of figured that out.
Yeah. And one of the questions is, isn't your van 4x4?
Oh, no, I already addressed that one. Yeah. No, the ProMasters, you can get a 4x4 model. I'm not sure if they actually make them anymore. I think it's the Rebel is one of the RV builds you can get based on this. That one does have a 4x4 kit. So no, you'd have to do them custom and have them custom built, which is way, way more expensive. So no, my van is not 4x4, nor do I even have particularly amazing tires for off-roading, so I try not to. And we looked at it when I'm starting to cycle new tires into it, and we looked at everything over, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to bother with getting amazing tires right this second because I have so many computers on board. I just don't want to drive in the middle of nowhere anyway. So I try and stay as close to pavement and smoother roads as I can. But that's that. All right.
I remember when I was a kid, the school bus on a few occasions got stuck in the snow in the winter. And he would always just push a button next to the steering column. And he would always, except for one time, he would always be able to drive out. I think the button locked the differential.
It's that's a rear differential lock. That is a really good thing to get. Again, I don't have that either, so mine's a pretty normie road.
Yeah, yours is a Chrysler product, and they call theirs Sure Grip.
Sure Grip, okay.
Sure Grip. GM is Posi Traction.
Okay. I know. I have a really nice traction notification system that usually triggers a little bit too late. It's like by the time that thing triggers, I'm just stuck. So I should probably just stop and assess before I do much else. The good news in trying to get out last night is it actually put me more inside with the road. So if somebody was able to pass through with a vehicle, then they could actually get out. But the bad news is it made me a little bit more stuck. Like if I had the recovery tracks that I've been eyeing to get for a while, I would have actually been able to get out pretty quick yesterday before I got into like the bad mud. But it's just, you can't find them anywhere other than ordering them online, and then it's just a matter of I'm just not going to order them. All right, we have gone way too long without getting into our topics. So let's go ahead and get into our topic.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was fun. Hopefully it was an enjoyable intro. So this one was one of our articles that I pulled out of the weekly news roundup because I thought it'd make a great discussion, and I had a few different points to mention about it, and you guys might have some points as well. This was a report: businesses are wasting millions of dollars on unused software licenses. So customers are wasting millions of dollars every year. This, of course, focused on businesses, not as much customers, although customers, like people oftentimes, if you get onto some auto pay system and forget about it and maybe switch or don't use or switch to a different service, then I think that what starts to happen in many cases is we can forget about it and pay for things we're not using ourselves. But this is like businesses that are buying a bunch of things that they think they might need and they don't. And the best example I've seen of this personally is with clients. If I get a client and they are on like GoDaddy, for example, I like going on there and saying, all right, let's audit your GoDaddy account, because most likely you're paying for a whole bunch of crap that you don't actually need. And in many cases, I save my clients, hundreds of dollars on things like free business listings. Google does that automatically. You don't need to pay GoDaddy an annual service for a business listing. It doesn't do anything. So that's kind of the case. But this one looked at the fact that there's a lot of things like Trello, apparently, probably Monday.com. I didn't see it in the list, but Monday.com, Trello, things like this, businesses think they might need. Somebody buys it, nobody ever sets it up. But they found things like Slack and other telecommunication type things often do get used. So serving 6 million customers spanning 9 industries across 12 regions, Nextthink, what is that? Like Newspeak? I don't know. Looked at over 30 popular software tools and uncovered that 50% of licenses were not being used. Cost for the unused licenses was putting $45 million drain on the companies every single month, with each year adding up almost $537 million of wasted software. So they found that the figure could be even higher than the estimate because they only counted for using, talking about certain software. Among most commonly lapsed licenses were Tableau, Trello, Notion app, Spotfire, and BlueJeans. Whoever's forever in
I've
Blue
never
Jeans
heard of any
somewhere.
of them.
Trello is oftentimes used in project management. I've had a few clients using Trello in the past. The other ones I've not heard of.
Yeah, I've only heard of Trello myself.
Yeah. And then the other end of the spectrum, Slack, Teams, Zoom, WebEx, Asana were notably highly utilized, suggesting that communications, video conferencing, and other work management platforms remain crucial to business. So let's go ahead and pause there for now. What do you guys have any initial thoughts on this?
Yes. These companies are spending their money on this software that they don't even use on a prescription type situation. And this is money that they're just, they could use to actually help their employees with better wages is one of them. This is money that could actually reduce the price of their products so it'd be better competitive to other people's identical products.
Yep.
It could give them the edge to give a lower price. And instead, they choose to throw their money away on stuff they will probably never use.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the company buys like the foosball tables, It's like, hey,
yeah, they could have bought 100,000 foosball tables for that. But it's money that's on the table that they're just giving away for nothing. You might as well just say they're taking it out back and burning in a trash can when they could actually be using it to help their business compete with other businesses, or help give that employee an extra $1 a year raise or something.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah. So it makes me wonder if we were to do away with all of these unused licenses, as you mentioned, it could drive down the cost for the products, or you could pay your people more. But when you look at business, there's two major factors. One chief factor of business is that we're going to increase our revenue. The other one is we decrease our expenses. So you got to find a balance with that. And if you're paying for, you're buying software licenses you're not actually utilizing, you are having a higher cost. I think the problem is, though, is that a lot of these companies, they are not doing a good job on their watching their funding, because they don't actually have any real revenue at this point in time. This is most companies. They have VC investments. And the VCs come in and just give a bunch of money, and they just, whatever. And then oftentimes the people are just buying up the VC's other product licenses to bolster it up. And so it becomes this giant leech feeding, everyone's feeding on each other's big tech platforms. But really the only thing ever happening is ad revenues coming in. The VCs are sharing revenue here and there. A couple people are making some money in the top, and then a few other employees are making a living while they're at it, but really nothing is accomplished in the end. All right, anyone else want to jump on?
In the end, with all the wasted money here we're looking at, they can actually have somebody, they could be an existing employee or something like that, actually do a job of actually inventorying all their subscription stuff and how much it's being used, and make a report about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There is also the fact that because I've read about this throughout the years, every now and again, the Guardian or the Register will have a series because of someone didn't pay too. They paid too little. Some companies, a lot of them actually. They deliberately purchase too many licenses because they don't often, depending on the company, they don't often know how many they need, because the amount of employers varies throughout the year, and if they for a brief period have more users than they are paying a license for. And there is an audit, which is one of the things that can happen for every one of those who use proprietary software, because most of the companies are a member of a software license alliance. And if they are caught having too little, the fines that they are getting are bigger than the amount of than the license fee they would have to pay for the same user. So they would rather pay for too many licenses and not have to deal with that.
Well, they can easily, the people in charge of this can actually go to the HR department and have them give an idea in the company who should have what, and figure out and go and have the HR people ask them, are you interested in using this software package? You know, it starts there. The HR department knows who's in what positions and what kind of software they're most likely going to need, and then they can whittle it down from there.
Unless your HR department is one of the subscription services you're using, because a lot of companies are now, outsourcing their HR. Subscription service HR employee.
Which then that company has everybody's personal data in the company, because they're also issuing the paychecks as well.
Yep.
And then somebody in that company that's outsourced doing this has somebody gets angry in the company, grabs a bunch of your data, takes it home, and throws it out on the web.
Yeah, and we've talked about those breaches with third-party services and things like that, and then the third-party services external contracts as well and things. So, Ivan, any thoughts?
Well, just thinking about like my own experience at my old work and stuff like that. Is, we needed licenses for almost every little thing, depending on what department we worked for. And I can only really speak of the last one I was in, which was QA. And I mean, of course, you get your OS license, which of course was Windows, but we needed stuff like Toad, Control-M, anything that for Linux logins, stuff like that. It was Linux logins, no issue there. But it's just, was it like Control-M, Toad, a few other things. Aspen for our training and everything like that, and SharePoint, and you named it. And it's just like, it's like, okay, so then we have this other department that it doesn't use any of those, but let's say we still had to pay for the licenses for that department, even though they're not using it. It's like you're literally throwing money out the window if no one is in there. And of course, I don't know anything from that specific direction with that company, but it seems like that's how it was. And it just seems like knowing like the company you're with, because it's like any particular person can really only look at themselves unless they're into that analytics kind of business. And it's just kind of like, okay, we've got 30 some odd pieces of different software with you that we need licenses for every person in the company, and not every single one of us uses every single one of those. Then why bother getting that many? It doesn't make any fiscal sense for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, some cases you do get a little bit cheaper of a cost if you buy more of them. But I mean, sometimes it's just like, what are these companies doing? And then of course they just pass the costs on. Rick, do you have any commentary? You are muted though, and I can't see your camera, so I'm not sure if you're sitting there or not.
I was sitting off to the right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Chime in if you want. I can't see your camera right now. Yeah. So we talked about the. Oftentimes, this is driving up some of the costs of these services that we're doing. It makes me wonder what other things are these companies now. Let's talk about the companies receiving the royalties, the license fees that are not being used. Are we empowering these big tech companies more and more, enriching the investors more than they need to be enriched? basic things like that. Is that something we should be concerned about with companies coming in and just, we'll just go ahead and buy the subscription services and then whatever happens? And then these companies are rarely independent. They all tend to be tied together. One of the things I've looked at in the next tinfoil hat time, we're going to be having some discussion about terms of service. And one of the factors involved in the terms of service, yes, I started to see the consolidation of one of these industries, where it started with logging just attendances and things, and then it moved into, well, we can manage your whole infrastructure. Oh, we can collect payments for you. And now this one industry has one or two major mammoth companies that are managing every aspect of the organization's customer base, or member base, I should say. And as they're doing this, they've rooted everybody else out. They've bought everybody else out. Now these one or two huge firms now are managing the member details, including lots of private information for, millions of people. Meaning that, again, if it's a rogue employee or a data breach or something like this, of course they insist, all of our data is perfectly secure. But any data breaches that they find, will it find its way into the world? And this company making so much money, can they now use that money and that power to do whatever their agenda is? And it raises those concerns if we're just too busy handing over subscription services to everything that comes down the pipeline.
I think the subscription model is something nobody really wants. They're just kind of muscled into it. I mean, we had discussions about this with using Office 365 or using LibreWolf. Why pay Microsoft every month to use their stuff when you can get LibreWolf, for free?
LibreOffice, I mean.
Or LibreWolf, excuse me.
Wow,
I mean,
I didn't know
Libre's out
Microsoft
there.
sold LibreWolf.
No.
Yeah.
But I think, these companies should look for other things that are not subscription services that they can purchase and use. I know the company I used to work for, they made sure that they purchased all their software. They were really, they were so tight. A canoe with a bowling ball hole in the bottom of it couldn't sink. When it comes to keeping a tight ship with everything in-house. They didn't do any subscription service stuff. They even had all their technicians sign disclosure agreements. If you leave this company, you can't take any of your customers with you, nor can you go visit them again, or to turn the customer list over to your new company you're working for.
Yeah, this is one of the challenges, like MailChimp, right? And Constant Contact, all the other ones in that industry. You're giving all of the people who trust you's emails to a separate company. And then what does that company doing with all that information? It is utilizing that information for all sorts of things. And if you are unaware, that company that owns them is into it. And they also own Credit Karma. They also own TurboTax. They own QuickBooks. They own.
So they make the information cross-platform throughout all their businesses.
Well, that's the thing. And if you read their privacy policy and their terms of use, they say that except for TurboTax, all of those sub-businesses share all of their information with all of their other sub-businesses. So if you are subscribed to the email list of any individual person, of course, when that company sets up their business, they have to answer a lot of questions like, what type of industry are you in? And now Intuit, if they see your email address in there, they will augment their profile to flag your email address as somebody who likes this business based on the email address subscription services that you're subscribed to. And then they can use this inside of Credit Karma. This is fodder for the ESG scores. and that's exactly what is starting to go on as we start looking at these onerous terms of service. They're all sharing it. And this is a sad thing with System 1, which has an investment in start page, where if you read their terms of service, it actually says that they will augment their or they will supplement their profiles on the people that they have with third-party information that they got. And then when these are sharing it with, credit companies, credit sharing companies like Credit Karma, whatever else, they're building profiles of everything that they can scrape, harvest, buy, share, find, sort, or whatever else. And these are those problematic things we need to be aware of. And it all, in my opinion, starts with just giving over money for software subscriptions. Of course, here we're kind of talking about business software licenses, not private ones, but I think the similar thing could apply.
If you can swing it, the best thing you can do is have the worst credit score on earth, then nobody will bother you.
Yeah, there you go. Great news. We stole somebody's credit. What's the bad news? Their credit sucks.
They have a score of 2.
Yeah.
Great. How wonderful. All right. Those were kind of the talking points that I had. Any other talking points on this one before we divulge into total crazy randomness? Actually, we'll get to comments and then we'll go into total crazy randomness.
I think I've said my biggest concerns.
Okay. Well, I guess if anybody else has any more. Anthony says, Anthony says up here, I worked at an insurance company a few years ago. They had me audit the Adobe licenses after a version upgrade before subscriptions, and there were a lot of double licensed. Yes, indeed. Of course, with that, though, it'd be, you have a license for 4 and a license for 5,
That brings up a new thing. Suppose you have a license to use a certain version number 4, and you have a contract to pay on it through X amount of years. Mm-hmm. Well, in that X amount of years, number 5 comes out. Now in order to use that one, you have to get another subscription. So you're paying 2 subscriptions for the same product, but they're different versions.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But for the companies that this is going to be an actual problem, they buy so many licenses that they renegotiate for the newer versions anyway. So and they always purchase more than they need because they know how. Often the problem is not knowing how many employees they have, but how many employees are actually going to use this thing, and they have to account for that. In a certain period, there are more people than others are going to use that. It's not an easy solution.
I think, though, that this article didn't necessarily look at businesses that were overbuying licenses as much as businesses that were buying licenses to products they just didn't even use. And so that's a question, one way or the other. Lol says my MS OneDrive cloud storage has been maxed out for years. I don't even use it anymore. Waste of $100. And just download your stuff and delete it.
Yeah.
Let's see. 400 terabytes on G Suite, still $10 per month. Yeah, there you go. Contractor for an India-based IT company. They want me to be their eyes and ears for them. They can work their way into the company I work for. Feels creepy. Yes, it does. I think OBS just did a little stutter. That was the first stutter I saw. So,
it did.
Steambot over on Odyssey says Microsoft sells GIMP. Really? Does Microsoft sell GIMP? That would surprise me. Let's see.
That would be interesting.
Well, you know something? There is software that I've noticed that is free for the Linux community, but that same software is at a price on another website for Windows.
Yeah, I've seen that. Web 3.0, now your bank's landing page is 50 megabytes instead of 10. Yeah, I've encountered some of that recently. It's just like, all right, guys, you guys need to stop. Like, we do not all have T3 lines. I mean, that's probably slow these days. We don't all have gigabit fiber lines and supercomputers here. Would you please test your equipment? Like, these companies need to QA their equipment by driving in the middle of the sticks with a $300 Best Buy computer running Windows 11 and see how the website works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board. Somebody, client sent me a
I don't
site
think a
that they
$300
liked.
computer will make the Windows 11 minimum requirements.
Probably. I had a client that they were talking about doing a redesign of their existing website, and they sent me a link to a competitor that they liked. I could not even load the thing. It was like they had like instead of like 5 little blocks of pictures, they were all like videos. And so like I'm like, it's gonna cost me like, $50 in data just to download this stupid web page. And then of course the thing was so system heavy, my Raspberry Pi just crashed out. So I'm just like, close that tab.
Yeah, a tablet probably couldn't handle it.
Well, yeah, maybe. What's up? Says Steamboat. Even more licenses will go unused. Many corporate layoffs announced today. On top, I mean, like, is every company laid off? Is any company not being laying people off right now?
Yeah, the oil industry.
GitHub and Zoom are laying off numbers. Yeah, GitHub's probably replacing theirs with a ChatGPT. What? ChatGPT.
I know. I see that too.
ChatGPT. That's a very interesting way to write ChatGPT. I just got it. Good job.
I know, right?
But that's why you need 5G.
GitHub's also owned by Microsoft.
Yeah. They need 5G so they can discern your mood. Yes. Maybe the Chinese balloon was gathering up all those unused licenses.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
Speaking of layoffs, in Norway, the oil industry are looking to hire. If I remember correctly, they are looking to hire 30,000 more workers in the industry.
In which industry?
The oil industry.
Huh. That's shocking. In
it's
America?
Going strong. No, in Norway.
Saudi Arabia.
So,
yeah, all the guys that are controlling the economy. Not us Americans.
Norway's kind of weird. They force all their citizens to use electric cars and then sell their oil to the rest of the world.
Hey, but in Saudi Arabia, they're working on the line, so you won't need a car either way. So it's all good. You guys see that? The smart city, the line. They're building it based on they want to have a 5-minute smart city. Every single thing you need is 5 minutes from your house, so there's no need to go anywhere. And then of course, everything outside the city, of course, is no man's land. So basically, you have like, Hunger Games going up.
Yeah, are they going to force all your relatives to live 5 minutes from you too?
Well, I mean, come on. In the ideal society, that's kind of what they're trying to do. Let me see if I can grab some information about the line for you, because it's fascinating.
Yeah, and it's going to be really really long. So that's an interesting take on the city.
Here you go. All right, so here's the line. So it's this giant reflective thing. I think the height of it was supposed to be. They have this overlay. Oh, that's because my cookies. All right, let me set my cookie settings. Let me reject all cookies. There we go. Now we can actually see what's going on here. So this is actually the promo for it that they put in. So lady goes in and, whoa, look at this amazing place. Apparently you can even fly in this world. Look at this. Is this Peter Pan or what? So the idea is, of course, I think the height of it was like, isn't it like about the height of like the Empire State Building or something? I forget the exact height. Might be on here somewhere. But then it's only like, what is it, like a half a mile or a quarter mile thick, if that. But then of course they want every service there. You can see everybody's got plants and stuff growing on their back.
Yeah, and everything is going to be smart and connected to our network.
No roads, cars, or emissions. It will run 100% on renewable energy. 95% of land will be preserved for nature. This is part of what the powers that be want. They do not want people going
to be fair, in that location, they have an excellent amount of sunlight that could power everything, and then store some for the nighttime when there is no solar.
Okay, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long, 500 meters above sea level. Line will eventually accommodate 9 million people and will be built on top of a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. Mean a reduced infrastructure footprint, creating a never-before-seen efficiencies in city function. The ideal climate all year round will ensure that residents can enjoy surrounding nature. Residents will also have access to all facilities within a 5-mile walk, in addition to high-speed rail with end-to-end transit time of 20 minutes. So you are literally cannot ever go outside. You will perpetually be within a building. That is their plan for you.
Yeah, and 170 kilometers.
Sounds more like a
100
prison to
miles.
me.
It does, but there you go. Unparalleled access to nature. Our progressive designs, immediate and uninterrupted access to nature within a 2-minute walk through diverse open spaces suspended on multiple levels. That's not nature.
Yeah, what kind of
Clean air
nature can you
forever.
have in the desert other than a cactus?
Well, it depends on which desert you're in.
Yeah.
More time to spend with loved ones. Everything is accessible within a 5-minute walk. Yeah.
But
Everything
for a
that you
city
need
where
to own
everything
nothing
is-
and be happy.
But for a city where everything is, where no one is supposed to have a vehicle, having something within a 5-minute walking distance actually makes sense.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't want to live
which
there
is
anyway,
fine.
so.
But count me out. I'll be busy traveling around the country, and call me crazy.
Yeah.
I'd rather be stuck in a ditch in North Texas than stuck in the line for eternity.
Yeah, especially knowing what the likely future for that city is going to be.
Yeah. Environmental solution to urbanism. There you go.
Yeah, and the name for this project is the city is going to be called Neom
Yeah.
for some reason.
Designed to deliver new wonder.
So there's already some talk in some circles that this city could actually be the rebuilt old city that is going to be destroyed in the 7-year period.
Yeah, tribulation period. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's it sounds like it, and it's actually set in the biblical places of the world. So
Yeah.
it's certainly is a candidate. So maybe we need the line to be created before Jesus could come back. But man, I do not want to wait that long. This world's getting nuts.
Yeah, but it's interesting. One of the images that is showing up, it's a little delayed on our end, but it literally is a line. They are literally drawing a line in the sand. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah. All right, you guys go and enjoy living in your line in your sand, and I will enjoy being stuck in the road of North Texas after a rainstorm. So that's the line. So if you guys haven't seen the line before, BRD 451 says over on Rumble, totally not a dystopian crap hole. Not at all. Of course not. Yeah. Looking futuristic, Saudi Arabian cities are. Yes, indeed. With the American taxpayer dollars. You'll be able to float in the air inside of the line. I saw the line commercial. I know, right? It's like Peter Pan, man. Where's Tinkerbell? It's booming. Where I live, there's oiling yards. So many contracts come and go. Not enough people. The line is a prison. Yes. Yeah, it's stupid even for a prison. You will be inside the line. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. See, I added you will own nothing, 101. You forgot that part. It will never get built at best. It will be half done, then abandoned. Yes, probably the case. Probably. But that's their goal, though. That's their plan. That's what they want. So, the line sounds like another Netflix show. So yeah, it will be unfinished then, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's check out on YouTube comments. Let's see. We're getting more feedback on the line than we did on our topic. Maybe we should have just talked about the smart city and lines. Everything within 5 minutes. I moved to nowhere, South Dakota for a reason. Absolutely, you know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't want to be 5 minutes from everything I need. Sorry, that sounds boring to me. Late. My internet has been all over the place tonight. Not sure if it's T-Mobile or the backbone. All right. Is that the new internet? So is it causing problems, I guess? Everyone at work was having issues last night on Breeze Line and T-Mobile. All right. Uploads are fine, but my downloads are dropping to 1 Mbps. All right. Seems like the back end level 3 from all I could find. Yeah. Sad thing, people will fall for all this. Yep. Let me in the line. Let me in the line.
Yeah, I moved out to the country to get away from all that junk.
Yep. Show your
Yeah,
political
same
party,
here.
take it north-south, and you can live on the left or the right. Ruler could be the Lion King. Nice. I'll pass on living in the line. Yeah. Once you're in it, can you get out? That's a good question. I don't know. You're back down to 106.5 down. All right. Is that Mbps? All right. Can I do a line in the line? Under B.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yikes.
I can just imagine someone builds one of these lines and then some idiot decides to put in a zip line and charge tickets.
That sounds. I'd rather have that line if I'm honest.
Yeah, and then some other guy comes in and says, "Okay, I want to do that zip line, but attach a rocket to my back."
There you go.
Yeah.
How fast can you go? 170 kilometers. Well,
Exactly.
apparently 20 minutes on their bullet trains, so you know.
Oi.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap up the show here. We do have a Christian video tonight on the Christian channel, so you can head on over there. Our Walk in Christ. It'll premiere on YouTube at 9 Eastern, and then it will meander its way on over to Odyssey, Rumble, and BitChute, probably within an hour or two after that. So if you want to catch the Christian show tonight, we are on Hosea chapter 7. Fun, riveting time over there. But tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on this channel, we are going to be back with the weekly news roundup. So we will see you guys then. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful evening.